What is up, everybody? I'm hoping you're all well. It is time to review the latest movie in the Disney live action remakes, this time directed by Tim Burton, who in the past hasn't really had a good track record with remaking live action movies of Disney classics. So this time around he's once again teaming up with Batman and Penguin, so let's see if he can recreate the same magic he did all those years ago. And yes, while this review is a little bit late, I saw this movie on Monday, I'm now recording my review on Wednesday. However, those 2 days have given me just a bit of time to really think about what I liked, what I didn't like, especially considering I'm going to see Pet Sematary tomorrow, so I didn't want to just completely erase Dumbo from my head. But having said that, with a few days, I can't remember that much about it. Is that a good sign? Is that a bad sign? I don't know. Let's get on with the review and find out. Dumbo. So Dumbo is the latest in the slew of live-action Disney movie remakes of their animated classics from all those years ago. This movie sees Danny Devito play a circus owner, which is basically run down, they're not doing good business. However, their luck changes when a baby elephant is born with freakishly large ears, and that elephant somehow learns to fly, which draws a lot of attention from the public and some other circuses that wanted to make a deal with Danny DeVito's character to basically have Dumbo on their show, which is where Michael Keaton's character comes into this movie, but it has some very dark intentions. Funny how it's Batman playing the villain in this movie and Penguin playing the good guy. Sort of the good guy's a little bit conflicted in this movie, but we'll get onto that in a moment. And there's also a storyline involving Colin Farrell and his kids in this movie where he's come back from the war, the mother's died, and I didn't really care much for that storyline. Which is why I'm going to start this review off. Straight off the bat, the human characters in this movie I didn't latch onto in any way, shape or form. I didn't care about their storylines, I didn't care about their plots. And while there are good actors portraying these characters in the film, Colin Farrell, Danny DeVito, Michael Keaton as well, all very talented actors in this movie, the performances are definitely not their best. They're not the worst they've ever been, but they're just kind of mediocre. We've seen these actors give better performances, we know they can give better performances, so that's why this movie just feels a little bit lackluster when it comes to the more human characters. While there's always material focusing on fleshing out these characters, the actual portrayals of the characters just came off a little bit bland and boring. Which leads me to comparing both this Dumbo and the original Dumbo, and I know you shouldn't really compare movies, but it is a remake of that movie, so I kind of have to. The original Dumbo clocks in at about an hour, maybe an hour 10 minutes, so I was very intrigued to see how we were going to extend the plot line to be a feature-length film. This movie as it stands is about an hour 50, so they really did extend that out. But in Dumbo, and even in the other live-action remakes of Disney movies, the animals are established as being able to talk to each other. The animals are able to communicate between each other. Even in Jungle Book, they're able to communicate with Mowgli. However, for some reason in this movie, none of the animals can talk. Not a single animal in this movie can talk, including Dumbo's original mouse sidekick who guides him through his journey in the original film. And while he gets a cameo in this movie, he is instead replaced by these two kids, and I just didn't care about their characters. I feel like this movie would have been a lot better if they had focused more on the animals side like they did in the original movie rather than the humans. We really fleshed out and put a lot of depth into these human characters when really we should be focusing on Dumbo. And granted, Dumbo in this movie, everything with Dumbo is great. I loved Dumbo. Dumbo is adorable and I want my own. But because there's so much going on with these human characters, I felt like he was more a side character in his own movie. This movie really should have been called How My Broken Family Taught an Elephant to Fly, which brought us closer together, featuring Dumbo. I mean, I understand why they didn't call it that, that's a bit of a mouthful, but still, it doesn't really feel like a Dumbo movie. And it sounds a lot like I'm shitting on this movie. I'm really not, although there is a big issue when it comes to the human characters in this film. The actual set design and the production value for this movie, as you come to expect with any Tim Burton film, is still really good. The sets are weird and wacky, the shots are well framed, and while a bit too dark in some places, it wasn't so dark that I didn't really know what was going on, so I can't really complain about that. One of the biggest praises I can give this movie is definitely Danny Elfman's score. I loved his score in this movie. When it comes to Dumbo flying for the first time and you hear that score just building and building and building to the point where he actually flies, I thought that was magical. It definitely added to the scene. I loved that. But as a whole, this Dumbo movie is pretty forgettable, which is a shame because I quite like the original animation. And while the majority of kids will absolutely love this movie and some parents may love it as well, there are going to be some parents out there that are going to be a bit meh with it. It's not a completely boring movie, don't get me wrong. I didn't find myself completely uninterested. It was just everything with the human characters I didn't get behind, I wasn't invested in. I came to see Dumbo in his own movie, and instead I got Dumbo as a side character in his own movie. While that is my biggest issue, I can't really say there's anything truly bad about this movie. The performances are a little bit weak, and yes, sure, the dialogue can come off a little bit awkward, but I think it might be down to the performances. Or maybe the writing is just a little bit awful, that the performances weren't as up to standards as they normally are from these actors. Whichever way around it is, this movie could have been better, but I can still see families having a little bit of a good time with it. I personally thought it was okay. I'm probably not going to watch it again though, unfortunately, which is a bit unfortunate because I generally like the original movie. I was pretty excited for this movie. The trailers looked really good, but I was sadly let down. And so for all those reasons, I'm going to give Dumbo 2 stars. So, Dumbo, have you guys seen it yet? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share the video with friends, and if you want to see more videos just like this one, then subscribe to my channel for more. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.